Okay, I think you're ready. Let me start with Yoon. Hello, Yoon. Are you ready to answer this question?
Cô ơi, em vào muộn nên là cô cho em xin thêm thời gian chuẩn bị được không ạ?
Okay,
Ôi cô
sure.
cho em thứ hai được không ạ?
Dạ vâng, cảm ơn ạ.
Em mới ấy cô ơi, em đổ một cốc nước, thế em
Okay.
đi dọn.
Okay. Vậy những bạn khác đều yêu cầu là thứ hai và thứ ba. Vậy là bạn Hà Linh thứ nhất. Bạn Hà Linh có đồng ý không? Are you ready to answer the question?
Yes, yes, I am.
All right.
I will
Thank
be
you,
the first
Helen.
one.
Okay. Thank you, Helen. Okay. So let's start with the topic about hometown. Okay. Where's your hometown?
My hometown is in the old Taiping district, which is the new Hưng Yên cities
Mm,
after the mergers.
mm,
There's a lot of rice field
mm,
and mountains there, and
mm,
I feel very refreshing whenever I visit Taiping.
All right. Good. Let me see. Let me put the timer. All right. Good. So, has your hometown changed much over the years?
Yes, it has. Uh, these years there are more buildings and they rebuild the road.
Mm,
That means we can travel easier from Hanoi to Taiping.
mm. All right. Okay, so you mentioned about the infrastructure. Okay, so remember here, if the questions use the present perfect, to be honest, that we have to answer questions, we have to use the answer, which is in the past and also at present. So for example, you can say that in the past, okay, in the past, there used to be, for example, or there was, okay, less roads and bridges or and bridges, okay, in my hometown. But nowadays, is it has been popular to see that well constructed roads and fully furnished buildings everywhere in my hometown, for example. So basically, this kind of question asks us to use simple past, and then you can use present perfect, so that we can compare what differences between those times. Okay. Here, there are one more questions then. Would you like to live there in the future? Why or why not?
Personally, I would not because my family is in Hanoi
Mm,
and I was born in Hanoi. Also, my relative moved from Taiping to Hanoi for many years ago. And in the future, I want to work and live in Hanoi
mm, mm,
too.
All right, good. Okay, you make it clear, but here we can add in sentence structure, help us to predict what will happen in future. Example, you can use be going to. So you can say that, yeah, in the near future, I'm going to settle down in Hanoi because there's a lot of job opportunities, okay, like that. So we can use sentence structure like be going to, or you can use will. Even you also can use like I'm going to Hanoi. Actually, it is not present continuous, but it's a form of verb. That's how to predict something that would probably happen in future. So that is what we expect to hear. Okay, thank you. Let's move on to the topic of science. Okay, are you interested in science?
Uh, to my opinions, I'm not interested in science
Mm,
because I don't like to work with number.
mm,
I would prefer literature and music and
mm,
art
mm,
because I think that I have a sense of art and I can feel art
mm,
easier.
All right. Okay, so yeah, we remember we say I'm not interested in, I'm not keen on. Okay. And actually, talking about science, we have two type of science. We have natural science and social science. So natural science, like you can see, we have physics, math, chemistry, and then natural science. That is natural science. And then for social sciences, we have language art. We also have psychologies, those things like that. Okay. Uh, One more question, please. How okay, because you don't like science, so I cannot ask you the question number seven. Okay, so do you think that children should learn more about science at school? Why or why not?
Well, of course, I think it's important for children to learn science at school because
Mm,
it is uh it is applicable. It
mm,
can be applied to realities and some social some science such as math, physics, and can have can be applied a lot in our life.
mm. All right. Okay. That's true. Okay, so science, if we have more science at school, or we can have more science-based curriculum, it's gonna help us to build the new generations which have strong knowledge in the field of natural science and social sciences as well, and that's gonna help to boost our economy. Okay. Thank you, Helen. Let me ask you some questions. Yoon, are you ready?
Yes, I can.
All right. Give it a try.
Can you give me more 5 minutes more?
Sure,
No,
sure.
just three. Yeah,
O-
I'm sorry, three. Just 3 minutes.
Okay, sure. Let's Yoon
Yeah.
Dang go first, okay? Okay. Now, okay. So the first question is, where's your hometown?
My hometown is Bắc City. This
Mm,
is a small province in the north of Vietnam. It's quite close to Hanoi, so it's easy to travel there. The city is not very crowded, and the air is quite fresh. I
mm,
really like the peaceful feeling of living there.
mm. All right. So that makes sense. You introduce the location of a hometown and what make it best for you to live there? That's good. Okay. So, would you like to live there in the future? Why or why not?
Actually, I'm living in my hometown now.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up here and I feel really comfortable living with my family.
Mm,
The environment is high, the cost of living in now, and I don't really want to move anywhere else.
all right. Okay, so actually, if we have only three sentences, you're gonna give the first one gonna be the direct answer. So for that, you have to verify the question. For example, would you like to live there in the future? So the direct answer could be yeah, absolutely yes. And from the second sentence, it should be the reason why you would like to stay there or the benefit of living in your hometown. For example, okay, it's very comfortable for me and my family to live in my birthplace because our relatives are living nearby, and then we can gather all together at the weekend, just have some fun. Okay, for example, like that. Okay, good. Let's move on to the topic of science. Are you interested in science?
Yes, I'm quite interested in science.
Mm-hmm.
I think it helps me understand how everything works around us. Science also useful for solving real life problems.
Mm,
It makes our life easy and more interesting.
mm. Okay, good. And then let me ask you the next question. How often do you read or watch science-related programs?
Um, I don't do it every day, but maybe one or twice a week. Sometimes I watch short video about science on YouTube or TikTok.
Mm,
They are simple, but help me learn many new things. I enjoy watching how experiments work in real life.
all right, good. And it would be even better if you can indicate exactly what type of science you're interested in. Okay. For example, you can say that you usually watch shorts on TikTok or YouTube, right? So, for example, you can give like, I'm interested in watching shorts, especially experiment in chemistry, for example. Okay, so what type of reels or what type of shorts that you usually watch, and what type of science you are mentioning? So that would it make much more clear and specific. Okay, the last question would be, do you think that children should learn more about science at school?
Um, yes, of course, science is very important for children
Mm,
because it helps them think logical and creatively.
mm,
It also makes them more curious about the
mm,
world. I believe learning science from a young age can help them in the future.
mm. All right. Okay. And that we done with Dương Đặng. How about Hoàng Dương? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, don't worry, give it a try. It's just a practice. Okay, where is your hometown?
My hometown is Haiphong City, and I've lived there for since I was born, and recently I've just moved to Hanoi City for my university.
Mm, all right. And remember that for hometown, you have to mention the location and what you like and what you don't like about your hometown. Okay, next questions. Has your hometown changed much over the years?
Since from many years ago, Haiphong City was one of the most developed uh city in Vietnam, and recent year there's many things have changed in Haiphong, especially the innovation there. There are more bridge, and I think that the most change in recent in in this year is that Haiphong and Haidương become one city and called Haiphong. I think that um, quite it make Haiphong become one of the most biggest have the one of the largest area in Vietnam, and and I think that it will be a cái gì? Ý em muốn nói là Hải Phòng sẽ là một điều đúng đắn, không phải đúng đắn mà là cái em quên mất từ đấy,
All
kiểu
right. Okay,
nó là
okay, no worry. Okay,
uh,
don't worry because actually you out of time. We only can give the answer around 25 seconds. So yeah, if you even forget that idea, just end it up. Okay. So basically if you say uh you talk about your hometown, so mention about how it's looked like in the past and what is how it's changed now as present. And also you can give further ideas of what would be the best for you if with these changes it would make your hometown better to live in the future.
can I
Okay?
say it again for this question?
Sure, sure.
Yes.
Mm,
Oh, mm, definitely. Haiphong become one of the has developed a lot in recent years, especially after merging with Haizhou.
mm,
And one of the things that I find interesting is that my parents were originally from come from Haizhou, but
mm,
now but now they are no longer considered away from their home.
Mm,
The city has become more modern, and I one of the things that I can see clearly in is about the infrastructure,
mm,
and there are more bridge was built which can connect Haiphong to more and more city to more and more other city, and there are also I hear that it has the what highway, and I think it become more modern and it will bring more job opportunities for the citizen.
mm. All right. This would be better answer. And I actually like the last part of the answer. The first one is not the direct answer, but the last part give a lot of reason why your hometown changed so much and changed for the better. Okay, so let's start with the topic about science. Do you think that children should learn more about science at school?
Absolutely, science encourage curiosity and critical thinking.
Mm,
And I think that if children learn science in a fun or practical way, they will become more creative and they and open mind in the future, and therefore they will like have more ideas about to develop their countries. Yeah.
mm. All right. But there's one thing that not make sense. That means if you learn more about science, this doesn't mean you will become more creative. Usually, when you learn more about art, okay, or languages, you're gonna become more creative. If you learn more about, I agree with you that if you learn more about science, it make you be better at critical thinking and judgment, and that is a good point in your answer. Okay, let's see. And we're gonna go to, we have another part of social media, but I hope that you can practice at home for the question. We would like to move on to part two, but before you move on to part two, let's look at some of the suggested answer over here. Of course, first of all, you're gonna introduce where's your hometown is. So the sentence like my hometown is gonna help you a lot. And then you can use relative clause. Okay. For example, you talk about a coastal city, a mountainous area, or an urban area. So a word like coastal city introduce the original place of your hometown. Coastal city, urban areas, the outskirts of the city, or a mountainous area, or highland. Okay, central highland. So introduce the location of your hometown, and of course, you the sentence like it's known for, is well known for. Okay, and then you can describe some of the feature of your hometown. The next thing you would look at for the second question is gonna be what do you like most about living there? So you can say I love. You can start the sentence structure with I love, and then make a list of a lot of benefit of living in your hometown. Okay, that is easy questions. Okay, here, as I said, for question number three, you should use is used to be, but now. This is like a mandatory sentence structure to use to answer for questions starting with has your blah 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 changed over the year. Okay. Uh, yeah, okay. Okay. And if you got a questions about you interested in, so try the sentence structure of I've always been drawn to. Instead of saying, are you interested in? I'm interested in. You can try to change it into I've always been drawn to, which similar meaning. Okay. I've always been drawn to. Um, okay. do you think that children should learn more about science at school? So yeah, instead of saying absolutely yes, you can say without a doubt, without a doubt, and then science encourages. Okay, that's good. Mm, or it teaches you how to. Okay, so that is some sentence structure you could look at. Now we're gonna move on to the cue card of part two. You're gonna describe your childhood experience that you really enjoy. Of course, we don't talk about sad story over here. So yeah, a childhood experience, which is positive, which is a lasting memory for you. And the things you have to mention is where it is, where it was, what you did, who were there with you, and why you enjoy it so much. We're gonna have four questions in one. There's something for you to look at. You can start. One of the most beautiful memory from my childhood was, okay? One of the most beautiful memories from my childhood was, and then you're gonna start with maybe, of course, summer holidays. Okay, so you can make up the story if you don't really remember one. So is maybe a summer holiday with your grandparent in the countryside. Okay, and then you start telling about what happened over there in the countryside with your grandparents. Okay, and the best thing about it was that it's surrounded with nature. Okay, and yeah, you can feel like nature, feel like the rice fields over there or the air that smell really fresh. Okay, describe the beauty of nature in your childhood experience. Okay, and tell a story. Usually that the question asks us about an experience, and the best way to answer is to tell a story, an interesting story. Okay, for example, that you and your cousin built up a small bamboo raft to float down the river. Okay, and you can remember vividly that how clumsy and how unstable, how clumsy you were, and how unstable is the bamboo raft. But you were so proud of yourself of making a masterpiece. And then what else? You're gonna describe how you was feeling. You spent a lot of time that laughing, splashing the water, okay, and explore on a great adventure. Okay, and yep, why you enjoy it so much because the experience was so much special to you because you feel the feeling of freedom. Okay, you have a sense of freedom and no distraction, no phones, no technological devices, no electronic devices, just you in the nature and the laughter and the togetherness with your cousin. Okay, and what else? You can even catch the sands of wet grass after rain. And that, yeah, it's really simple, but it's really happy. Okay. It, of course, not only build up a childhood experience, a happy childhood experience, but also it build up how you feel happy right now at your life. Okay. So this is an example for you. Okay. I hope to listen to your beautiful childhood experience right now. I think we're gonna have Mm, I think 5 minutes to repair is just enough for you. So let's do it for 5 minutes. Let's prepare it for 5 minutes and then yeah, we all come up and tell each other about a childhood experience you had. Okay, you have plenty of time. And I think that is for you to make your answer right now. Can you give your answer right now? Helen, are you ready?
Sure I am.
All right. Okay, so you have 2 minutes. Okay. Okay. One, two, three, let's go.
One of the most memorable childhood experience that I'm going to tell you is the time I go on visit Dalat City, which is located in Lâm district. The center of city is located in the hill, so the air is very fresh here. I went there with my mom, my older sister, and my younger sister. My dad was sick then, so he could not join with us. The time I went to Dalat, we taste a lot of delicious food. We went to the night market and buy a lot of souvenirs or clothes. One activities that I like the most while visiting there is the time when I visit the third mansion of Bảo Đại, who was the last emperor of Vietnam, and the mansion was enormous and ancient. Why I remember it the most because uh, I was 4 years old then, and it was the first time I went on the plane, and I very enjoyed the cold weather of Dalat. One more thing that impressed me when I came visit Dalat is that there is no traffic light there. Uh, then, and I don't know if they have traffic lights now. And in the near future, I really want to come back to Dalat with my family again.
All right, you still have 15 minutes to go. Okay, I think that all the sentences was in is in simple part, and that's good. That's correct. Okay, and it's also good to hear you to describe about a trip. But if you can use a little bit more adjective to talk about how good was the experience, it would be much more descriptive. We need to make it descriptive with a lot of adjective. Okay, and that's so far so good. Okay, thank you, Helen. Dương Đặng, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
All right, give it a try. One, two, three, let's go.
One of the most unforgettable childhood experience I had was the first time I went to an internet cafe. It happened when I was about 8 years old in my hometown, Bắc Giang.
Hmm.
Going to a desktop was something I really dreamed of, but my parents always told me not to go there because they thought it was bad place for kids. One day, I decided to go with my friends after school. We even lied to the owner, saying we were old enough to play. I still remember how nervous and excited when I talked to the computer for the first time. Uh, we play a certain game and not so much. I feel like the best day ever. But when I came home, my parents found out because one of my friends accidentally told their mom. My dad was so angry that she scolded me and gave me a small punishment. I feel very scared at that time, but honestly, I still think it was worth it because it was such a fun and memorable day. It was the first time I feel a little bit brave and independent, even though I got into trouble. Mm.
All right, the time management is good. You still have 3 minutes to go, and it's filled with the information about where and what and who and why you enjoy it. But I hope that the pronunciation gonna be clearer and you're gonna polish your pronunciation, so it's gonna be better. Okay, thank you, Yoon Dang and Hwang Yoon. You should give it a try. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, let me see. Right here we have 2 minutes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Oh, one of the most memorable experience from my childhood happened when I was in grade three, and today I want to talk to you about that. At that time, my mom had signed me up for an extra English class, and my neighbor's sons also attended the same class to me with me.
Mm,
And I remember that it was a afternoon after the class has had finished, and no one came up to pick it up for quite a while. So therefore, my friend suddenly suggests that we should walk home by ourselves. Honestly, I was mm, really scared because I don't know the way, and I was worried that if I go with him, and my mom would came and she would not, and she not would not, she wouldn't see me there, and so but he still held my hand and said that he would take me home. On the way, he even borrowed a phone from a nearby house to call my mom and tell her what was happening. I in my memory in it was a hot and sunny day, but most of the road we walked was quite shady because of the roof and trees along the way. He kept talking, joking, and even points out the different place to make me feel safe. Even though I'm terrible at remembering direction, I can still recall the path clearly. But later we didn't have much hang out much anymore. But that they stay in my memory. It might sound quite simple to you, it, but I remember laughing a lot and feeling happy the whole way home. And that warmth make me feel, I'm sorry, make it really special to me.
all right. Okay. Um, I literally could not find any mistake or complain about your answer. So, okay, that's good. We need to move on to the last part of the test, which is part 3. We're gonna discuss about memory and smell. So you guys have, I think, 5 minutes to prepare for these questions before we start the discussion. So this time, I would not call one by one student. I just call you interchangeably. Okay, any questions anytime. So make sure that you're ready for all of these questions. All right, let's start talking about memory and smell. Okay, let's start with Huang Yu. You always the last, so now you should be the first. How are smells linked to memory?
When it comes to this topic, I think that smells are deeply connected to memory because the part I remember that my teacher has said that smell are deeply connected to memory because the part of our brain is that process smell is also responsible for storing memories. So I
Mm,
think that's why just a small sense can bring back vivid memories from years ago. For instance, the smell of my mother perfume always reminds me of my childhood. Of my childhood morning when she took me to the school,
mm,
and I think that it's fascinating that how a sense can linger in there and instantly take you back in time.
mm,
And yeah, so I think that smell happens to and and in a, and in what additional smell help us to relive certain moments more clearly than photos sometimes do.
mm.
Sometimes does.
All right. Okay, good. It makes sense. And then we can use a verb like smells actually very powerful to trigger, okay, to recall the memory. Okay. Very powerful triggers for memory. Okay. Why? Because they are processed in the limbic system. Yeah. This is a part of the brain. So it's processed over there and it associates the image with the emotions. So actually it's come with emotions. So that's why you can remember it for a long time. Okay. So example that okay, we always can remember the smell of our mom. So whenever when you hug your mom, okay, and or you can smell her. She has special smell, so you can remember her for a long time through that sense. Yeah, and then you said that it can transport us back in time, so that we can recall lasting memory. Okay, that's correct. Now, Helen, can you tell me why do some smells trigger a strong emotion?
I have to read the sample answer, or I can answer in my own way.
Of course, you can answer in your own way. It's just
Okay,
references, okay?
right.
Mm,
Some smell triggers strong emotions because they are tied to significant moments
mm,
in our lives, such as the smell of a favorite meal cooked by our grandparents. These scents can activate deep emotional response due to their connections with personal memories.
mm. Yeah, that's correct. That yeah is actually what yeah it's come with smell can trigger our emotions. Of course, because it's processed in the limbic system, it's over there, so that we have to it links to our memory as well. Okay. Yeah. Okay, now questions number 3, Yoon Dang. Do you think our sense of smell become weaker or grow as we grow older?
Tôi lại tôi có thể hỏi hai câu cuối không ạ?
Oh, okay, sure. Okay, I change the question for you. Should the city try to preserve traditional smell like food or flowers in local markets? Why or why not?
Yes, I think they should. Traditional smells are part of a city culture and help people feel connected to their roots. For example, in Vietnam, the smell of grilled meat or little soup from the street food store is very familiar and comforting. Each city lose those smell because of modernization. They will also lose part of their cultural identity and local charm.
All right. I see. Okay. Let me see the last the question number three. Do you think our stand-up smell become weaker when we grow older? Helen, can you answer this question?
Yes, I believe our sense of smell can weaken with age, because the olfactory system naturally declines over time. And many older people report that difficulty detecting faint scent, which might be due to health changes. However, it varies from person to person, depending on their lifestyle and genetics.
All right. Okay. Last questions, Hoàng Yu. How can modern urban life affect people's sensory experiences compared to the past?
Um, Modern life, especially in big cities, can really numb our sense. I think because people spend most of their time indoor, surrounded by artificial smell like perfume, detergent, or air fresh air freshener. Natural scents like grass after the rain or food cooking on the street don't linger in the air as as much anymore. And besides, the pollution can mask the pleasant smell, like once defined the city life.
Mm.
I compared to the past, I think that compared to the past, urban life might be more convenient, but it felt less rich in sensory experience. Cô ơi, em nói xong rồi ạ.
Yeah, I'm processing your answer.
À,
Okay. Okay, thank you. I think this topic is quite hard. It is new. Okay. So you guys have to come back home and then yeah, try to answer it on over again. Okay.
Teacher,
Mm,
before the class dismiss, I want to hear your feedback about my speaking skills, such as the pronunciation, my accents, or the content related to the topic.
mm,
You can give me more advice so that I can prepare better in
mm.
the future, or I can use some app or website to practice more.
Okay. So I think that I have been giving feedback one of a time for your fluency and time management. So in term of the let's say the first one pronunciations, as we say, you have to try to because we don't teach the pronunciation here. So in talking about the pronunciations, we have the first thing. Um, the first thing in pronunciations that would be the correct pronunciation for each syllable. For example, we have, let's say, screen share. It's take a lot of time to feedback on the pronunciations. For example, here we have the memory. Okay, so we're gonna have the first syllable mer and mer and re, right? Or we can actually say memory. Memory. We don't need to say memory. Okay, so first of all, you have to check back to your how many syllable you pronounce. Memory. Okay, the second one, to improve your pronunciations, you should look at um, the stress on the right syllable. For example, memory is not memory or memory. And then the next one is, the last one is you have to look at the fluency, okay? For example, we say smells are incredibly powerful trigger for memory because they process by the limbic system. So after you have given the correct number of syllables, and then you correctly pronounce every part of the word, you have to put on the right stress, the put the stress on the right place, and then you have to put the stress on the right word in a sentence. So you can make it flow naturally, and also you can actually improve your listening. So that is the things that I want you to improve your pronunciations, but it's difficult for us to try to correct all of the mispronounced word because we are in the part of practicing for um, how to the strategy to deal with the questions in the test. We don't basically we don't have time for the various basics knowledge of English of linguistic. So yeah, you have to come back home and try to learn about the IPA. Okay. So you can check the dictionary like what am I doing right now? For example, if you have the word powerful, and then you can type in the word powerful right here and try to practice how many syllable. And then you can even listen to the audio and shadowing. Okay. Try to repeat the word. And then the first thing is the pronunciations. Then there's come some other thing to improve. So yeah, Helen try to give a well-rounded answer. So most of your answers, I think it's good because about the content, I have nothing to complain. But one of the things that I would like you to improve is the pronunciations because somehow it still feel like Vietnamese pronunciation. So yeah, you can spend more time to practice pronunciations, and I think shadowing techniques gonna be very good for you to improve your natural way to speak English. Okay? Yeah, there will be more to come. Don't worry. Is it clear
Uh,
for you?
yeah, thank you so much. I understand it.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, try your best to improve. That is just one thing, pronunciations. And for example, in part three, like you say, like we say here, we try to have a collection of the topic for part three, and we try to discuss, right? We try to discuss the answer. Like we are sitting around a table and then, yeah, take turns to ask questions and answer. And then we try to employ a lot of high, a lot of advanced vocabulary here. And the answer should be logical and make sense. Okay. So we will talk about it more. Okay. I think from next time, next week, we're gonna spend more time for part three of the list of the speaking test. Then we can have more feedback. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Hope to see you guys again on Saturday. Okay. Okay. Bye bye. Good night, everyone.
Good
Bye bye.
night, teacher.
Wish you a good night.
Okay.